mindset and accountability community. Welcome, welcome. So, we are here for our monthly free training, get together, meetup, whatever you guys want to call it, because each month we kind of change up what that looks like. So, this month specifically, we're going to be doing a health and wellness Q&A. I'm going to be sharing some of our Q3 workshops as well as what you can expect kind of going into the 4th of July long weekend, or maybe some of you do have to work on Friday, and kind of things to remember as you go into the holiday, get back on track for a day, and then go into the weekend. So, as a reminder, this community is for busy moms who are ready to take back their life, feel more confident, stronger, have more energy, all while learning simple habits and changes that allow you to reach your goals without having to give up the wine and cheese, the beer and pizza, or whatever that guilty pleasure may be. So if you are on Facebook right now and you are watching live, make sure to drop hashtag live in the comments below. Let me know you are there and that you can hear me okay. Feel free to also let us know who you are and where you're from. If you are watching the replay, whether that be on YouTube or on Facebook or wherever else you might have found this replay, because we kind of post in a variety of places these days, just drop hashtag replay in the comments below, and same thing, let us know who you are, where you're from, and kind of why this video stopped you today to have you start to kind of tune in and listen. So as we go through, I'm going to first start with our Q3 workshops that we have coming up. I want you to make sure you note them, add them to your calendar. There is an additional cost for those of you who are not part of our inner circle. I'm happy to talk through what that cost looks like. If you want to attend all of them, I do a bundle pricing, things like that. So if at any point you want to attend one or all of these workshops, or you want just a few more details, drop workshop in the comments below and I will get them to you. But make sure you've got out pen and paper so you can write down our workshops. I will also do a post on this here in the next week and a half. So on Monday, July 22nd at 5 p.m., I'm going to be doing a mindful eating workshop where we're going to be exploring mindful practices applied to eating habits that will help you understand when you're hungry, bored, or honoring a craving, or is it just something that you want to indulge in? We're really going to get a better understanding of listening to our body, not just when we go to consume the food, but also when we feel good. Do we feel full? Do we feel satisfied? Have we overate? Starting to listen to some of those cues and become more mindful of it and have it become more second nature. Workshop number 2 is going to take place in August. So remember, we've got one free training and one paid workshop per month. On August 20th, that's a Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., so a little bit more early in the day, I'm going to be doing a self-massage and recovery technique workshop. During this workshop, we are going to be working on self-massage recovery methods ranging from trigger point, so using a tennis ball or any of those lacrosse balls, or maybe you even have a packet of trigger point tools. I'm going to teach you how to use those: foam rolling, massage gun techniques, self-massage for if you got like a cramp in your neck or your hands are cramping, things like that. So it's a great way to increase recovery, reduce muscle soreness, and just kind of make you feel a little bit better throughout your day. And then workshop number 3 is going to be in September, and it's going to be Wednesday, September 25th at 1 p.m. This is where I'm going to teach you how to DIY fitness equipment. So you may be somebody who likes to travel, such as myself, or you may know you've got a big trip coming up, but you need to stay in routine with your exercises. But you know you're not going to be able to take your equipment with you. Coming fall, maybe you just have a transition that's happening. Maybe you're moving, or maybe you want to start creating a home gym rather than going to the gym all the time, but you are not ready to invest in the equipment. So what I'm going to be doing is teaching you how to use what you have around you as your equipment and how to make things a little bit more challenging when need be. I just did this when I went to Florida in April. I took a backpack and I filled it with certain things and I used it in a variety of different moves. So I'm going to be showing you how to do that with not just a backpack, but with a variety of other things from around your house. So remember, if you need to pause this, if you're watching the replay, go back and rewrite down those dates, go for it. And remember, if you want to learn more about this, or you want to join any of these workshops, get the replays, get all the access, make sure to drop workshop in the comments below and I will send all that to you. Finally, before we move into our Q&A session for the day, I want to let you know that because the 4th is happening on Thursday, that is why we are going live today. But I wanted to let you know that tomorrow I will be sharing a replay of low-calorie cocktails and mocktails. I created this training probably been about 2 years now. I actually had to go back and search for it, but I thought it would be a perfect one where the training starts with a 10-minute arm workout. So if you're looking for a quick little movement session, feel free to do that. Or you can skip through the first 10-ish minutes and go right into the education portion where you can listen or you can watch or you can do both. There are PowerPoint slides. So just helpful to kind of look and see rather than just listening. But you can go through and figure out some lower calorie cocktails and mocktails that are going to help you stay hydrated, not feel as crummy the next day, especially if you're out on the water, out in the sun, enjoying the 4th of July weekend, having fun with friends and family. And also in there, what I will be doing is beneath that post, I'll be giving just a few other holiday tips. You could also go to the guide section inside our community and check out any of our previous trainings. If you just type in holiday, you should be able to find old holiday trainings on things to remember with buffets and cookouts and things like that. So if at any point through this you do have questions specifically for that, drop them in the comments. I am going to do a bonus session for any questions that are dropped in the comments later on, because I want to make sure that everything gets answered. So with that, I'm just going to make sure that everything's running how it should here on Facebook, and we're going to get started. Perfect. Okay. So as we kind of move into our Q&A, I want to give you an update on why we are doing a Q&A. So we just finished up quarter 2, and in our inner circle and for myself, what I do is we create year-long goals, and then we break those big goals up into quarterly goals and intentions. Reason being is if we have this year-long goal, it's really hard to actually sometimes attain that and put in action steps. So if we break it into 3-month intervals or 3-month sprints, it makes it a little bit easier. One of the things that I noticed as I was doing my end of quarter reflection, because although we set intentions, I also reflect back and see, okay, what worked, what moved forward, what am I still dragging my feet on? How can I shift? Whose help do I need to make this happen in all areas? So, knowing that, I noticed that in this last quarter, I had a ton of questions that came from new fads and trends and just a lot of things on social media that have been popping up, not just on my feed, but on my clients' feeds, on your guys' feeds, things like that. So, with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover a lot of these questions. Some of them we are going to dive a little bit deeper into, so there may be some follow up. Some of them we may just do one question. So, if you end up having any follow up questions at all, let me know and drop them in the comments. Like I said, we will do a follow up video if you guys have additional questions. And if you don't, totally okay as well. So, one of the first questions is I had somebody ask, what are the top health and wellness trends for women in 2024? So, what are the things that I should be looking out for that I should be doing? In reality, there's nothing you should be doing. We want to think about things that are going to make us feel good physically, mentally, emotionally, and nutritionally. And just because the internet says you should be doing it does not mean you should be. So some of the things that did pop up, which I thought were interesting, were personalized nutrition plans, which is something I work with clients with, is we really look at your nutrition, we break it down, and we help give recommendations based on what you're lacking, what you maybe need a little bit more of. Okay, maybe what you're over consuming, can we dial it back and still enjoy it? So that is one of the top things. And right now, the trend is a lot of apps where you put in your information, it tells you exactly what to eat. I'm always a little hesitant on those because they don't know you as a person. And although they say personalized and customized, because you put in your height and your weight, it is still very general. So making sure that you're just taking some extra time to double check and make sure that you are getting something personalized or customized if that's what it says. One of the other thing is mental wellness apps. This is like Calm, Fitbit's got a meditation, or a Ring's got one. If you've got any sort of fitness tracker, they most likely have some sort of mental wellness or meditation type of system already built into their platform. So if you are using any of these, I think these are awesome. Even just having one of these on your phone is a great tool to use when you're in a high stressed environment, when you need to kind of step away, when you need to reground yourself. So, yes, this may be a trend that is on the up, but I think it's a really great one because it is good to have these things in your pocket in case you need to use them. So Calm I know is free. I've got the Fitbit one and the Aura Ring one, which I'll talk about here a little bit more in a bit. Hormonal health, something else that's on the rise, as well as cortisol levels, which we're going to talk a little bit more of later. Sustainable fitness routines. I love that this is finally a trend rather than some of the other things that I've seen in the past. So making sure that you've got a good balance of strength, cardio, flexibility, and rest days, creating a sustainable fitness routine that you love. And then the final one that's going to kind of go into our next question is wearable health technology is that next trend, which I feel like has been on the up and up for the last couple of years. And just the type of device has kind of changed. So as we kind of move into the wearable health technology, one of the benefits, and I'm going to kind of specifically talk to women, but this also fits for general for everybody, is wearable devices are something that we are not supposed to live and die by. They are a tool. So if the tool ever becomes obsessive in any sort, always like get be in the practice of taking it off for a day, not wearing it. It's okay. You don't have to wear it all the time. You don't have to track your data 100% of the time. And now I have two of them. I have a Fitbit that I've been a Fitbit member since 2014. I've had this specific one since 2018. And then about a month ago, I invested in the Aura Ring. So, the first thing, the reason that I've loved my Fitbit is it was a really good price point when when I wanted to get into tracking some of my data. I got it back in college. I wanted to be aware of how much sleep I was getting, what was I getting enough steps in? Was I being active enough? Because it was a new transition in my life. And over the years, I've used that kind of as a good baseline. I love the platform. It's got a great app. You can set goals in there. You can track food. It's got meditation. I really like the platform when it comes to having like tracking your workouts. So Fitbit is a great fitness watch. The other thing that it does is it tracks your sleep patterns, your heart rate, and it provides a bunch of data. The one thing that I have found that it doesn't do as well is taking that data and actually interpreting it for you. And that's some of the things that if you love data, you'll spend a ton of time interpreting it. Me, on the other hand, I like it, but I do it for my clients that by the time it gets to me, sometimes I don't have the energy to do it. That's part of the reason why I invested in the Aura Ring. And I am loving it, partly because I find the sleep patterns is a little bit more accurate. And it doesn't just take my data from the day before, but it takes it and it translates it into information that I can then digest and decide what to do with it the next day. So that's one of the really cool things. If you would like to see kind of behind the scenes of what the app looks like and how I kind of interpret it, some of that, just feel free to drop a ring in the comments below and I'll do a screen record and I'll send that to you so you can kind of get an idea. But I love the Aura Ring. It has been one of my new favorites. Um, devices, and I do wear them both, partly because I want to see the difference. And is this one still really accurate? This is definitely newer technology because I just got it this year, whereas this one I've had since 2018. So I'm kind of just doing some comparing at this point. But as of now, I like them both. I do like how the Aura Ring takes that data and interprets it for me rather than just giving it to me. So if you are looking to invest in a fitness device or you have one right now, remember, don't live and die by it and make sure that you're getting what you want out of it. And if you're not, let's talk about which one may be a better option, or maybe it's not even having one. So, any additional questions as we're going through? Okay, great. So, one of the other things that has kind of come up is gut health. So, our gut health impacts digestion, immunity, and even our mental health. We want to make sure that we eat a diet that is rich in fiber, fermented foods, and probiotics that can support our gut health. Homemade broth, yogurt, uh, sauerkraut, anything like that is a really great option to kind of make sure you even have on hand. One of my favorites that I do for my gut health every morning is sourdough bread. And for some people, you've heard me talk about this. For some people, sourdough bread is great. Your body responds really well for it. For others, it doesn't. So it's important to find those things that make you feel good, because just because I say sourdough bread is great for me, but it makes you feel like crap, doesn't mean you should be doing it. Make sure you're finding foods and testing out things that actually work for you and that your body responds well to. But our gut health is really important. We want to make sure that we are taking time to look into it and to decide if we are getting all the things we need. And that's kind of where some of that food logging and going back to that personalized nutrition program or that customized nutrition outline, whatever we want to call it, looks like is we start with a food log, we figure out what are you missing, are you getting enough of these things in, how are you feeling, and if we find any gaps, then we start to fill them. So if you are someone who's not sure, feel free to drop food in the comments. We can do a 1 week food log completely free. I do that. I just did one for a few of you in the group just last week. So super easy to do. So we've got just a few more questions here as we move through. The next one we have is navigating menopause transition effectively. And this is something that I have a lot of women that I work with that are premenopausal or in menopause right now. And it's really important to stay up to date on the information, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and that looks like strength training. That's not just cardio. That means having a healthy, balanced diet, making sure we're getting everything we need from our diet, not having to use a ton of supplements. It also means that we are seeking support and hearing what is normal for others around us. And normal, I'm going to use very loosely because I don't think there's a full normal. But there is a really great article that I had found. And I'm going to drop it in the comments here. Um, so if you are premenopausal or you're in menopause, it's important to know why your body is going through these changes and all of that information and what happens when and why it is happening, not just that it's going to happen. So I did drop an article. I thought it was a really good one. I shared it with our inner circle probably about 2 months ago now, but I wanted to share it with you guys today. So if any of you are in that position or you know somebody else who is in that position right now, feel free to share that article with them, ask any additional questions on it. It is a little lengthy, but it is worth it. Okay, next question. Fitness trends. So as we talked about fitness trends, up at the top, one of the biggest one was sustainable exercise routines. But also there are things that kind of fall into this that I've seen are kind of more on the up and up. Like Pilates is one of those. People are always talking about Pilates. Um, High intensity interval training. I think we're going back to that HIIT training, going back to functional fitness. Functional fitness I love because it's about doing movements in your exercises or in your workouts that actually transfer into your everyday life. Mindfulness into workouts, that's going to be more of like your yoga. I feel like we've got a good split when I see people talking and people asking questions is we've got people doing really high intensity workouts and then we've got people doing slower, more mindful movements as well. So one of the things is whatever you choose to do, no matter what the trend is, try it out. If you like it, keep doing it. If you don't like it, don't do it. Find the battle rhythm that works for you. For instance, I've started to get back into walking and running, trying to get out once a week to go out and run for half a mile, run for a mile, okay, walk a little bit, things like that. And it doesn't necessarily fall into any of these categories, but the biggest thing to remember is we want to create a sustainable lifestyle in an exercise program. One makes us feel good, two, our body enjoys, and three, incorporates all the things that our body needs to make sure that our heart's staying healthy, that we're getting stronger, that we're staying flexible and mobile, but we're also not beating our body down every single day because rest and recovery is really important. So if you do find a new class or something or a new trend out there that you want to try, go ahead and try it. Try it out, see if you like it, but also make sure that you're taking adequate amount of time for rest and recovery because sometimes these new stuff we can really jump all in and then not give ourselves enough time. Our last little spot that we're going to kind of talk about here, because I find that this is the thing that I see everywhere. And these are going to be our last kind of questions that we're going to kind of fall into, and then we're going to wrap it up. So, cortisol levels and why is it important and why is everybody talking about it? This is the biggest trend that I've seen. People talk about all of their yummy juices or whatever they call it, and they do post about and all of those things. So, cortisol is a hormone produced in the adrenal glands in response to stress. It plays a critical role in regulating metabolism, reducing inflammation, and helping the body respond to stress. So, we all are stressed, but before we go and purchase a supplement or jump into making all of these big changes and thinking that that's the reason you're hanging on to weight, first get your blood work done. You can go and you can ask your doctor to run your hormonal levels. Um, but it's also, we got to look at what our normal lifestyle looks like. Are you exercising? Are you eating healthy? Are you getting adequate amount of sleep? Are you in a high stress environment? Are you able to remove some of that stress from your environment? Are you able to manage that? Are you practicing managing that? Those are things that are going to stick with you for a long term and are going to actually help regulate your cortisol levels rather than just taking a drink in the morning that lowers them for a specific amount of time and has you do this, but then you're locked into something else that you need to be doing for the rest of your life. So, how does stress impact this production? Well, stress triggers the release of the cortisol. Women can manage stress through our techniques like breathing, exercises, yoga, maintaining a supportive network. And I know a lot of you are moms, you are a lot going through different stages. I was actually joking with one of my clients yesterday. She was saying that at this point, she just has to laugh so she doesn't cry because of how often all of the kids are sick. She's got 3 kids, and as soon as one gets better, the next one gets sick. And it's super stressful to live in that world. So it's important that you have a supportive network around you that's going to help make you feel like you're not alone in this situation, so that you also take time for yourself. You also want to make sure that you're doing something for you. And personally, I always think that something for you should be something physically physically active, like walking, doing some stretching, things like that, because that's going to give you a double whammy. But maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's just sitting outside in the silence. It doesn't have to be active, but I always like to think if you can get that activity in there, it's kind of a double whammy. And the reason I bring that up is because there are ways to naturally lower our levels. And this is where I always recommend people start. And this is just really good baseline sustainable habit that we should be focusing on anyways. Is to lower techniques to lower our levels are to include regular physical activity. And that physical activity should be some cardio, some strength, some flexibility. You should have a good balance of all of those. It doesn't matter if you do it on your own, you take a class, you do small group coaching, you do one-on-one, doesn't matter. We want to make sure we are practicing mindfulness and meditation, that we are getting adequate sleep. And that's kind of when it brings it back to that Aura ring or a tracking device, something that actually tracks your sleep. When do you go to bed? When do you wake up? How much deep sleep are you getting? That is honestly the reason I still use both of these is yes, I love my Fitbit for my workouts, but I'm loving the data the or Ring is giving me for my sleep because I was waking up kind of fatigued and I couldn't figure out why when I used to like wake up ready to go. So I'm trying to get a better understanding of, am I getting enough sleep? Okay. If I am, why is it? Am I not getting deep sleep? What am I missing? And how can I help fix that so that I'm back to waking up energized and ready to go? Maintaining a balanced diet also really important. And that doesn't mean just Monday through Friday balanced diet and we go crazy on the weekend. It means being as consistent as we can 7 days a week in a way that is not restrictive, that allows us to have and enjoy the things we want. So remembering that that is just as important as being able to have the things you want is just as important as making sure we're getting all the vitamins, nutrients, and macros we need. So if you are unsure if you are having a balanced diet, once again, drop food in the comments below. We can look at sleep if you've got a tracker you want to talk through. Are you getting enough? Things like that. We can deep dive into this a ton. These are all the practices that I teach and I work with clients on. So if you implement any of these and you start working on it consistently, you are going to start to lower those levels in a natural, more sustainable way. And then that final thing that we want to remember we to be aware of to naturally lower those levels are reducing caffeine. I know you see I have coffee this morning, but if you are somebody who does a lot of caffeine intake, whether it's coffee, energy drinks, things like that, see if you can cut back a little bit, see if that helps because caffeine also interferes with our sleep. Our sugar intake is another one. We do consume a lot of sugar just naturally. So taking a look at your diet, creating a food log, having me look at it, see if there's places where, oh, we tend to start our day off this way. Can we add this in there to help reduce that sugar intake a little bit? Nothing crazy. So those are some of the main things, and I've got a ton more. So I'll do another one of these sessions later on. But I want to know if you have what was your biggest insight or takeaway from today's questions? What additional questions do you have? And is there anything based on what I talked about that you want a little bit more support on? If there is, you can send me a message, you can drop me a comment below that says, yeah, I want to talk more, whatever that looks like. But I hope you all have a fantastic 4th of July. Make sure to check tomorrow for the low calorie cocktails and mocktails training that I'm going to be sharing with you. And I will see you all back at the first of the month for our free training in August. But if you'd like to be part of our workshop on Monday, July 22nd at 5 p.m., just drop workshop in the comments below and I'll get you that link to sign up. So have a great rest of your day and I will see you all next time.